Okay, so this video is just going to be a very quick shoot through for anyone who missed the last session. All I'm going to do is make an ActionScript file, a Flash file, which has a circle bouncing between two walls. So I'm going to go into Flash, make a new file. There we go. And I'm going to make a circle on the stage, like that. And then I'm going to select the circle and right-click and convert it to a symbol. Circle. MC. Okay, it's a movie clip. Its registration is in the top left-hand corner here, and that is a position from where you reference it. So anytime you change its position, it'll be referenced to this point relative to this point up here. So what that means is that it is its X direction horizontally moves over like this, and its Y down like that. If I just check its properties quickly, you can see that it's about 200 across, don't know if you can see that, and about 96 down on the Y. Okay, so I'm going to be playing around with the X position, mainly moving it horizontally backwards and forwards. I've made a symbol, it's in my library, there it is. I can now move multiple copies out of it onto the stage if I wanted to. But so Flash can differentiate between all these copies and this one that I got on the stage, it needs to have an instance name, which is very important, which I'm going to call circle_MC. And it's going to live in a layer called circle. The way I then access those properties and change them is with ActionScript, which is going to be in a layer called actions up here. And I go to the first keyframe of the actions layer, and I open up the actions panel up here in window and then down to actions. And to begin with, I'm just going to move the circle from the center of the stage, you can see it there, to the far left hand side. Oops, it needs a .x. So I'm accessing the X property of the circle using dot syntax. There we go. Equals 0, that should move it to the left hand side of the stage. Control Enter, and there it is on the left hand side of the stage. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the code now and do something more interesting where I set up a timer that fires every so often, and each time it fires I'm going to move the circle a little bit, and in that way I'm going to animate the circle. So I need to have a variable, it's called timer, animate timer it's going to be called, and its type is timer. The way you declare it is you need to declare it with new timer, like this, in brackets. It's going to run a period of 200 milliseconds, it's going to run for 300 times. Okay. Now, so this timer is going to fire every every 200 milliseconds, and so Flash needs to be listening for when it does fire. And when it does fire, it fires this thing called a timer event. And Flash can pick that up, and then every time it picks that up, it'll run a function for you. And that function I'm going to define soon is going to just in the next bit. It's going to be called animate circle. There we go. Down here, declare my function. Animate circle. Void. Doesn't return anything, and inside here, because it accepts a timer event, I'm going to type in timer event. The E is arbitrary, it's my choice. It's just so that I can accept this timer event function, because that's what it receives. Okay, and then inside here, I want to move the circle by a certain amount every single time. So circle_MC is going to be in there, but first of all, I need to specify by how much on each time the timer fires, I'm moving the circle. And so I'm going to make a variable up here called circle increment, which is a number, and it's going to be equal to 10. So I can come down here into my function, and then every single time it fires, I want you to move the position of the circle just slightly more to the right by just adding circle increments onto it every time. Okay, let's see if that works. And it doesn't, because I haven't started my timer. Animate timer dot start. Now let's see if that works. There it is. Right, the circle moving across. It's quite boring. What I want to try and do now is put in a couple of walls and get that circle bouncing backwards and forwards between the two walls. So I need a rectangle for that. Here's one rectangle, just like I did last time. Oh, no, I want to delete that actually. It's going to go in layer all of its own. Circle, add new layer, walls. There we go. Rectangle. There's a wall. Right, select it, right click, convert to symbol, wall, MC. Okay. And this wall is going to be the left-hand wall, wall left underscore MC. You'll notice I put underscore MC for my instance names and have a capital MC for just the name of the symbol. That might help help you to make the distinction between the two. Okay, that's one. And then in my library, I've got this wall symbol. I'm just going to make a copy of that, so I'm going to drag a copy of that straight out onto the stage, which is identical to this wall symbol over here, but it's going to have a different instance name. It's going to be wall right underscore MC. Okay, good. Now I've got my walls on the stage. Don't help. No, I don't need help. Go up to the actions again. Open up the actions panel, and now inside animate circle, every single time this fires, I wanted to check if it has hit a wall or not. So the way that I do that is I create a condition, one of these conditional if statements, which look like that, and then inside here I put my condition. And what I'm accessing now is, rather than accessing a property of the circle, I'm accessing a method, and this method allows you to test whether you've hit a special object. You can see the code hinting there, allowing me to select that. Wall right. Let's go and see. And if it does hit the right wall, what I want it to do is turn around and go in the opposite direction. And I hope you can see that if I just change the circle increment to be negative, and then add that onto the x position of the circle, it will now move in the opposite direction instead. So the way to do that is to say times equals -1. Oh, I don't want to save it. Times equals -1. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the opposite side too. So I'm just going to cut and paste. There it is. Oops. Else if so, this is if it hits the opposite side. Wall left. Two curly braces, and then in goes circle increment. Okay, so let's run that quickly and see how that works. It's going a bit slow, so I'm just going to speed it up by reducing this time period down to 70. That should speed it up quite a lot. There we go, bounces backwards and forwards. The last thing I'm going to do very quickly is add some mouse interactivity to it. So by doing that, I'm going to say circle underscore MC, add event listener, listening for a mouse event, click, there it is, and change direction is going to be the name of my function. So all this is asking here is that if you manage to click the mouse while it's moving backwards and forwards, it's just going to change the direction for you. Come down, define the function change direction. Just going to take an event called E, which is a mouse event this time, rather than a timer event. Just void, doesn't return anything. And then inside the curly braces, it's just going to be one line of code, which is this. Copy, paste. Okay, let's see how that works. So it bounces backwards and forwards, and now when I click on it, hopefully it'll go the other way. There we go. Okay, so there you go.